welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, where I'm very, very grateful to be here, very honored to be here and have the opportunity to talk with you here this morning, or I should say this evening. It is early morning for some of us here, 12:30 in the morning to be exact. So hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day today, whenever you're watching this, a day or morning or night. So it's been an interesting run. You know, it's definitely been a lot of fun, and I've had the opportunity to do a lot of interesting things over these last, this past week. Got to air my specials with you. You got to hear from Eric Kroom of Syracuse and NFL history. You get to hear from Pete Moore for strength and conditioning and all the kids that he's helped in Central and Upstate New York, and of course at Cicero North Syracuse with the North Stars. I have had the opportunity to share with you an all-new Binghamton Bearcat special, which, those are always exciting for us to do, and I always appreciate every time we get to bring you a Bearcat special. So we got to celebrate that this week as well. And so, that's just talking about, and that's the women's soccer special that we got to do with Allison Falvo about her journey. And with the team having a fantastic record of 8-1-3 at the time. So, and then of course, Brendan Murphy and I spoke going into this week with DT and Murphy, as we do on Mondays. And so a lot of great stuff that we've been able to do here on the show, and it's been awesome. And then, while you were watching those specials this week, I had the opportunity to be covering the ACC kickoff and every single one of the men's basketball teams. I had 18 teams in 2 days. We spoke to every coach of every one of those 18 ACC member institutions, and we spoke with student athletes from all over the country. So you're going to be able to get those. Some of that's already up on our social media, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much. And we implore you, if you haven't, to make sure to find us on Facebook, once again, at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. So however you're connecting with the show, we thank you for being with us. We appreciate you so very much. So there's that side of it too, that we've gotten to do ACC kickoff. And then of course our other show, our entertainment show, one of many shows that we have here in the Dan Tortora broadcast media overarching umbrella, essentially. We of course have the broadcast that we do throughout the year, a Superpowered Pop, which is proudly presented by Parker Banner, Kent, and Wayne, which is our comic book and collectible shop on 21500 Catawba Ave, Suite A in Cornelius, North Carolina, which is open 7 days a week. So make sure you go and see them. And so it's really been amazing to be down in New York City and to be broadcasting this episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from New York City. So we appreciate you for being with us, and, love covering New York Comic Con. I believe this is year 7, if it's not 8 already for us. And I had the opportunity to interview actor Michael Chiklis, as well as actor Johan Griffith, and writer Ruben Nahara, as well as, being able to speak with actor Paul Walter Hauser. So there's been a lot of great things that have happened here at New York Comic Con. And so for those of you that are tuning in saying, Dan, this is fantasy football, and let's hop right into fantasy football, we will. I just wanted to take a moment here to thank you all for your patience, because, we were going to do the show earlier in the week. Our plan was to do the show midweek, as we always do with fantasy football. It's every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where you can set it and keep it there. The Fantasy Football Power Hour, probably presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. And of course, you can go to the Wildcat 7 days a week, including on game day, to watch all the awesome games, not just the NFL, but everything. And you can go there for takeout and delivery by calling 315-487 2222. That's 315-487-2222. So I know it's a long-winded intro, but, it's been amazing to be doing triple duty, to have the wake-up call specials that aired this week, to be covering ACC tip-off, which you're going to be seeing over the next couple weeks, of all 18 schools coast to coast inside the Atlantic Coast Conference, and, of course, to have Superpowered Pop on site, on location, once again at New York Comic-Con in New York City at the Javits Center, and having just absolutely speechless and wonderful quality time interviews with the people that we've gotten to speak with, and by the grace of God, there is plenty more to come. And of course, I got to be there for a bunch of the panels. FX is the Beauty, as well as the Marvel TV and Marvel Animation panel, where I got to hear that X-Men 97 Season 3 is in the works, and we got to see a trailer for Season 2. We got to see a wonderful message, a wonderful intro from the mayor of New York City, Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, and we got to see a full trailer for Daredevil Born Again Season 2, which features Jessica Jones, as well as getting the news that Vision Quest is in fact happening, and it's coming out in 2026, and Paul Bettany came to the stage, and we got to see a full trailer for Vision Quest. So that was absolutely amazing. And speaking of amazing, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, we got to see a trailer for Season 2 of that, which has Gwen Stacy in it, as well as Doc Ock, Venom, the alien symbiote that becomes Venom, and more. So looking forward to all of that, and was definitely spoiled with that. And you can check out everything that we've done at New York Comic Con by going to @SuperpoweredPop on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And you can also find us on YouTube by searching @SuperpoweredPop. That's @SuperPowered, POWERED, not power, powered. So Superpowered Pop, POP. So make sure you check that out. With that being said, let's get into the games. Thank y'all for your patience this week, and we'll be back at our regularly scheduled Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time this coming Wednesday, October 15th. So make sure that you are with us for that, and we appreciate y'all for being with us. So thank you so much for your patience. So this game was already happening, Philadelphia at the Giants. The Giants had that game here at MetLife Stadium, not too far from where I am, broadcasting to you live on site, on location in New York City. And I want to thank New York City for being so hospitable over the years for Wake Up Call and Superpowered Pop and everything that I've gotten to do here in the community. So big time shout out to the 5 boroughs, and of course to New York City in general, and Long Island, and everybody down here. God bless y'all, and may you let God's light shine your way and light your path. So we're going to get into the London game, since we already had that Philly Giants game happen. So we're going to get into the London game, and we're going to start things off with Denver at the Jets. And so my thoughts on the Broncos at the Jets is going to start with us going to the Broncos first, as we always do, the road team first. So let's take a look at this game. And this game is going to be in London, so make sure you set your lineups early. I would suggest that your lineup is set while you're watching and listening to this, if you're up in the middle of the night. If not, if you wake up and watch this in the morning, then you got to make sure that this is set before 10 a.m. Eastern Time for Sunday, October 12th. 13th is Monday, so October 12th. In this matchup, I'm going to say Bo Nix is a quarterback 2. Well, you know what? I mean, they're playing the Jets. The Jets defense hasn't been great. Let me call him a low-end 1, a mid-range 1. Let's say mid-range 1. Mid to low-range quarterback 1 for Bo Nix. And then, R.J. Harvey, I like him as a running back 2. J.K. Dobbins as a running back 2. And, outside of that, I would say Cortland Sutton is worth the play. And if you want to flex out Troy Franklin, this might be the week to do something like that. On the Jets side of things, I would go first and foremost, taking a look at the New York Jets that are the home team. Even though this game is in London, they're giving up a home game to be over there. And the Jets have been over there a bunch, not as much as the Jaguars, but they have been over there. Justin Fields is back. I like Breece Hall in the matchup. I would say is a running back too because he's playing the Broncos defense. And Garrett Wilson, I'd still, look at putting him out there. And essentially, I would also look at putting out the Broncos defense and special teams. I feel like this could be a high-scoring game on the side of the Broncos. The next game that we're going to go to is going to take us to the Rams at the Ravens. The Ravens, there's really nothing to rave about in Baltimore, pun fully intended. So let's see if they can get on the right side of things with the Rams coming in here playing well. The Rams are 3-2 through the first 5 weeks, and the Baltimore Ravens are not in great footing right now. They're 1-4, and who would have thunk it with a team that has, Lamar Jackson obviously hasn't been healthy through every game, but it's definitely been crazy to see this. I'm going to call Matt Stafford still a low-end 1, high-end 2 at quarterback. I like Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams in the game. For the Rams. On the other side of it, for the Ravens, Lamar is going to be out for this week. He's expected to return in week 8. He has the hamstring injury, so if you're going to play anybody, I'd look at playing Derrick Henry. As I always tell you, backup quarterbacks will look to their tight ends and their running backs, so you could look at Mark Andrews, but I'm going to call him a tight end too, and really the only person that I would tell you to go after is Derrick Henry. In this game, I don't feel great about any of this, so I'm going to say Derrick Henry just because the Ravens have been reeling, and we know that, without Lamar Jackson, they are a shell of themselves, and with Lamar Jackson, they, you would anticipate that they would have played better by now, but things just haven't worked out for them, unfortunately. So the next one we're going to go to is going to be Baltimore at Carolina, and as we take a look at Baltimore at Carolina, Baltimore, Carolina. I'm looking at the last game. The Cowboys, can you tell that I've been up for many hours and barely slept this week? So let's go to the Cowboys here. And the Cowboys, in this matchup at Carolina, the Cowboys have been an enigma, and so is Carolina. Carolina's had some good moments. They're 2-3. The Cowboys are 2-1 with that tie to the Packers. So I'm going to call, Dak Prescott against Carolina, this might be the week that you play him. I'm going to call him a mid-range quarterback 1 in this matchup. And I like Javonte Williams in the game. CeeDee Lamb's down. I'd look to play George Pickens and Jake Ferguson, especially with them being at Carolina. But Carolina's a team, like I said, that has been strange. And with the way that things have been going with Carolina, we could see anything happen with this Carolina team. And we could see anything happen with this Cowboys team, to be completely honest with you. So, I think that this game is, it's going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to be a hard-fought game by both sides, or it's going to be one of three ways, I should say, because it's either going to be the Cowboys falling back down and people shaking their head at it, or Carolina does well, or Carolina looks like the team that's been struggling the last few years, and then you say okay, and then you move forward. It's honestly, it's either Carolina shows up and confuses us again, Dallas shows up or doesn't show up and confuses us again, or it's a good game, right? It's a hard-fought game, or it could be a dull game. So I guess there's really 4 ways to look at it. So I'm gonna go with, like I said, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, and Javonte Williams on Dallas' side. On Carolina's side, Chuba Hubbard's down, and he's going to be out for this week with a calf injury. God willing, he'll be okay. Bryce Young is your quarterback. I like Teteroa McMillan. I liked him when he was in his final season with the Arizona Wildcats in college, and I like him here. I'm excited that a lot of people have liked him as a rookie, so kudos and shout out to him. I'm going to say Teteroa McMillan's the only Carolina Panther that I'd be looking at playing in this matchup. The next one we're going to go to is going to take us to Arizona at Indianapolis. In this Arizona at Indianapolis game, you talk about enigmas, right? And Arizona is that team with Kyler Murray that you really never know if they're going to show up or if they're not going to show up. And that's a frustration that I did not want the likes of Marvin Harrison Jr. to endure, and unfortunately he has, which I think is frustrating because he's this great rookie talent, and I don't think that we're seeing what he can be. And it's really, really frustrating, and it's unfortunate, but it's where we're at right now. So let's go with Arizona first. And the Arizona Cardinals, as things stand right now, Kyler Murray's on the injury report, and he was limited, questionable to play in the game. He was limited going into the weekend. I mean, if Jacoby Brissett ends up being the guy, he's been a serviceable guy. And so I think Marvin Harrison Jr. might actually get some good work under him. I would flex out a Michael Carter or an Amari DeMercado. I'm not going to trust either one of them to lead your backfield, but I do think Marvin Harrison Jr. can benefit from having a veteran like Jacoby Brissett that, I've gotten to see and knew his name in college, and as he goes forward here, I think he's done some good things. He's done some good things for the teams that he's been on, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. For the Colts side of things, I like Jonathan Taylor. I like Michael Pittman Jr. I'm going to call him a wide receiver 2. Jonathan Taylor a 1. I like Tyler Warren, especially playing Arizona. And it's kind of a toss-up. Adonai Mitchell's done some good things, but Alec Pierce has in the past, and we've also seen some good things. Seen the fact that Josh Downs is another, he's a young talent on this team. I mean, if I had to pick somebody, then I feel like of those three, I would pick Adonai Mitchell right now, but I don't feel great about anybody other than Michael Pittman going out there. But the ones I feel the best about are Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren when we're talking about the actual position of this game at home against the Arizona Cardinals. The next one we got up is the Seahawks at the Jaguars. The Jaguars are coming off of a Monday night football victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, which has put them in a great place this season. They're going to be hosting the Seahawks, who are 3-2, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are hosting them with a record of 4-1 currently. So the Seahawks coming to town. Jacksonville's just got to stay focused, can't rest on that win. You got to be ready for the next game. So hopefully they had the 24-hour rule, good, bad, or indifferent. You feel it, and then you move on. So Kenneth Walker the third in this game, I'd look to him. I looked at Zach Charbonnet as the handcuff to that. I would say that Charbonnet in a deep league is a 2, but hopefully you can flex him out at a 3. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba in this game. And then on the other side for the Jaguars, I think Trevor Lawrence has proven they could do a lot of things. I'm going to call him a mid to low range quarterback 1. I like Travis Etienne Jr. in this. I like Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. Hopefully Travis Hunter you can flex out as a true flex player with him playing all over the field. And, Hunter Long is a sneaky pick for this game and a deep sleeper, I would call him in the matchup. But, just a name to remember. Next one that we got up here is going to take us to Miami, and we have both West Coast teams, both LA teams are going to be coming to the East Coast. When you have LA at Baltimore for the Rams, and you have LA at Miami for the Chargers. We got a question that came in here from Val's the Goat, and Val's the Goat, if you have not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. So appreciate you being here. And appreciate you being up with us late, or maybe it's early wherever you are. So we appreciate you being here with us. And like I said, our typical fantasy football coverage, the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub, is coming to you every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So make sure that you're with us, Vals, and everybody else during our normal weekly schedule. We're just different this week with me pulling double duty covering New York Comic-Con for our other show, Superpowered Pop. So Vals the Goat said, would you trade Jacobs, Worthy, and Aaron Jones for Bijan and Rome Odunze? So would I trade Josh Jacobs, Xavier Worthy, and Aaron Jones for Bijan and Odunze? You know what? I feel like I would, because Worthy's kind of a toss-up. Aaron Jones has been injured. I like Josh Jacobs, but, Bijan and Odunze, those are two guys that I think are going to get you output every week. So I would say do the trade if you're the one getting Bijan and Rome. if you're the one getting Bijan and Rome, I would say do the trade. I think that's a good deal as long as you got some depth on your team, because I know you're giving up one more player than you're getting. The next one we have up here, like I said, is going to be another LA team coming to the East Coast, and that's the Los Angeles Chargers. So, I mean, they're playing Miami. I like Justin Herbert in this matchup. They've had a bunch of injuries. Unfortunately, Amari and Hampton, he's on injured reserve, expected to come back week 10 from an ankle. Najee Harris is on injured reserve. So Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal are going out there. And then Nyheim Hines, who I covered when he was at NC State, he's on the roster too at running back for the Chargers. So, I mean, I'm going to say Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey, a little bit of Keenan Allen in this game as well. And if you got a deep league and you got a waiver wire, you could pick somebody up at free agency. If you want to get Haskins or Vidal because they're playing Miami, you could do that. I'm not going to trust them to be, a dominant force for you. But maybe if you flex them out and you need another running back on your team, that's something to do. As far as Tua goes, I love Tua. I'm not going to put him out here in this game, though. I would say Devon Achane and, Ollie Gordon II in a deep league, a flex out, a handcuff. I don't mind him in this game. Darren Waller I like, and I would say he's got limited practices, though, so I'm going to call him I guess I'll call Waller. I mean, I do like him in the game. I'm still going to call him a tight end 1, but maybe, just temper your thoughts on him because of limited practice. And then Jalen Waddle would probably be the wide receiver that I would play. I'm not going to call him a 1 in the game. I'll call him a 2 in this matchup. Val said, I subbed. Thanks for the great help. Also, which would you start at flex? Vidal, Algier, or Isaiah Bond? Good question. Good question. So thank you for subscribing, Vals. And like I said, thanks for being with us late tonight as we made up some time that we were supposed to do this Wednesday. But we were at ACC tip-off, and I was covering 18 teams over 2 days, so schedule was a little different this week. So I appreciate everybody that's with us and everybody that's going to watch us on playback and everybody that's going to check us out, right before your game kicks off to give you advice. So definitely appreciate y'all. Make sure, again, with the London game, you remember that the Broncos at the Jets is not at 1 o'clock. It is in the morning, so make sure you're ready for that one, and that you don't wake up and your team's already set. So, Vidal, Algier, or Isaiah Bond? And like I said, that's a good question. So, Isaiah Bond, let me take a look at what we got here. So, Bond's playing the Steelers. Then Vidal, I just talked about, is with the Chargers at Miami. And then Tyler Algier is Monday Night Football at home against Buffalo. This is my only issue with Algier, is that I said that Michael Penix Jr. would open up the offense, and he has. But then the offense has also sputtered out this year. It's been atypical. The way that they started, you're like, okay, Atlanta's finally woken up. And then they just kind of crapped out against the Patriots. And so, let's look at that. They scored 20 points in week 1, okay? They scored, so in the 4 games they played, because they had a bye week, so they scored 20 and lost, they scored 22, they scored 0, and they scored 34. They're coming off of their best game, though, 34-27, against the Washington Commanders, who were sans Jaden Daniels in the game. Michael Penix had 313, 20-26, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Algier and Bijan had a touchdown. Drake had a touchdown. Kyle Pitts Sr. had a touchdown. 4 catches on 5 targets for Bijan and over 100 yards receiving to go with it. So he had 181 yards in that game all-purpose. That's why I said getting Bijan and Roma Dunze was good for you. Val's the GOAT. So, like I said, really good question. And, so who would I flex out? Algier against Buffalo. See, Buffalo's been so up and down. But Buffalo's on Monday Night Football doubleheader, so it gives you somebody on Monday night. And then Hassan Haskins if Vidal isn't getting it as much, because we don't know how that's going to shake out. And I don't like Bond against the Steelers, so I'm going to say Algier. I'm going to say go with Algier. because he is getting involved more so than he has been, which is good to see. Let's go to that Cleveland game since we're speaking about Isaiah Bond. Let's go to Cleveland at Pittsburgh, and of course this is an AFC North matchup, and we'll go to Cleveland first with them being the road team. Dylan Gabriel's the starter, which I'm really excited to see this. And, this was a team that started with, 5 or 6 quarterbacks, and now they have 3. They have Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and Deshaun, who is on injured reserve and started the season on injured reserve. So, Cleveland most recently, and God willing, Deshaun will be okay. And God willing, everything will get figured out. Deshaun came in with all this great excitement, and obviously things happen off the field, and it's been ugly since then. So hopefully things get better for everybody involved. Dylan Gabriel went 19 of 33 in his first ever start as a rookie in the NFL. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in his first game. That's good. Quinshon Judkins, 23 carries, 110 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. David Njoku, it's good to know Dylan's going to him. 9 targets, 6 catches. Both of those led the team. 67 yards, that also led the team, and he scored a touchdown. Harold Fannin Jr. scored a touchdown, so he involved both the tight ends. Harold had 4 passes thrown his way, and he caught all 4 of them. And then Isaiah Bond, 7 targets, 2 catches, 29 yards. Jamari Thrash got the only ball thrown his way, and Jerry Jeudy had 5 targets, 2 catches for only 15 yards in the game. So keep in mind they are playing Pittsburgh, so I'd look at maybe playing Pittsburgh's defense and special teams. But I'm going to say Jerry Jeudy's, maybe you flex him out this week. I like Quinshon Judkins as a running back too. I wouldn't start Dylan Gabriel. And then David Njoku and Harold Fannin. If I had to pick right now, I'd say I'd lean on Njoku a little bit more, but I like both of them right now. And then Val said, you think Vidal will be nothing? Not that he will be nothing. It's just that him and Hassan Haskins are going to be sharing the time. And right now, who's going to be getting the majority of those carries is the big question mark. I think Vidal can show up big, but I think I just feel better about telling you Algier Vals, because Algier's had more statistical positive moments, including recently, in the grand scheme of things. So that's why I'm picking him over Vidal. So that was for Cleveland. On Pittsburgh side of this Cleveland at Pittsburgh game, I like Aaron Rodgers in this game. I like DK Metcalf, and I'm going to say Pat Freiermuth as a low-end 1, high-end 2 at tight end. Calvin Austin III, who I covered in college and interviewed out of Memphis, he is out this week with a shoulder injury. God willing, he'll be back next week. So I like DK Metcalf in the game. And, somebody else is going to get involved. Scotty Miller or Ben Skowronek or somebody will, but I wouldn't be starting either of those guys. I think they might go tight end and maybe some Jalen Warren love. If you want to put Jalen Warren out there as a running back 2 this week or a flex for you. And outside of that, I would say really Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. I don't mind playing Aaron Rodgers in this game because it's Cleveland. But I'm going to call him a mid-range quarterback 1. I'm not going to put him on the high end because, when you're playing Cleveland, this could be a crapshoot, and the game could be like 13-17 or 13-10. And then as far as the Patriots at the Saints, Patriots have been looking pretty good, better than people anticipated, me included. I thought Drake May would have a good season, but, and I thought I said Mike Vrabel should have been the coach last year, was my prediction. And so Whoopi said, hello, do you answer questions? Yes, I do, man. That's what I'm here for. So go ahead and fire away. Drake May went into Buffalo and got a big old dub, and that was huge. And now they got to go to New Orleans. They won 23-20 over Buffalo at Buffalo, handing Buffalo their first loss of the season and getting them close because Patriots are 3-2 and Buffalo's 4-1. So just keep in mind that the Patriots are very much in play. And Drake May in that game went 22 of 30. He didn't throw a touchdown pass. He didn't throw an interception either. And Stephon Diggs had 146 yards against his old team in Buffalo. 10 catches on 12 targets, 146 yards. Hunter Henry had 46 yards on 2 catches. So the closest person to Stephon Diggs on New England in that game was 100 yards shy. So 1-2 in the receiving group for the Patriots win over the Bills. Diggs had 100 yards more than the closest person to him, which was Hunter Henry. So, I mean, this is New Orleans, and again, I use the word enigma. I say, they're up and down and around the corner. I say that these teams are hard to read, and that includes the Packers and the Falcons and the Cowboys and the Saints. And, the Saints are coming off their first win, 26-14 over the Giants, and the Giants just got to win over Philadelphia, so that's looking good. That was the first win for New Orleans, and so that put the Giants in New Orleans at that time at 1-4. Spencer Rattler, he's been doing all right. Kendre Miller and Alvin Kamara have been sharing time. Rashid Shaheed's getting involved a lot. Chris Olave got involved more recently. So, I mean, for New England, Drake May coming to town. I'm going to call him a mid to low range quarterback 1. Travion Henderson, hopefully you can flex him out at a 3. Ramondre Stevenson, I'm going to call him a 2 this week. Diggsy, I would say he's worth putting out there this week, but hopefully you got better people ahead of him and you can put him as your 3rd wide receiver. And then Alvin Kamara was limited in practice. He's questionable with an ankle injury. God willing, he'll be okay. I like Rashid Shaheed as a 2 in this week. I like Kendre Miller in a deep league as a 2, but hopefully you can flex him out as a 3. And Juwan Johnson was cleared to play, so I look at Spencer Rattler seems to like him. I'm going to call him a mid-range tight end 1 this week. The Saints might win this one at home, or we might see the 4th win for the Patriots. I think this game is a toss-up because I think the Patriots are playing better, and I think the Saints are a very confusing team. Even though, they just got their first win, but they're a very confusing team. So, Zawupi said, pick 3. I need huge upside. My opponent has Scadaboo and Dallas Goedert. And he said, pick 2, not 3. Okay. Mason Taylor, Darren Waller, Shakir, Kendrick Bourne, Trey Tucker, Jamison Williams. That's a good question. I'm going to say... Zawupi, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. So, I'm going to answer your question here. Let me take a look at this. So, yeah, I would say, my knee-jerk reaction... Zawupi. Oh, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you. My knee-jerk reaction is Jamison Williams and Waller. But I would say Shakir if Waller... Because it seems like Waller's been cleared to go. I'm just going to double check on that just to let you know. I'm going to check in the moment here. But let me see. I love what he posted. Don't let the tough times take you out of your element. No, it's better on the other side. I'm the testament. Amen to that. Dude retired and came out of retirement, for goodness sakes. So, yeah, I like Darren Waller. I do. I would say that. But my only concern, he said, what about Bourne with Mac playing? What about Kendrick Bourne? That's a good question. So the question is, what about Kendrick Bourne? Let me just check the injury update on him. Let's see here. He was a full participant in practice with a rib injury. He's on the injury report, but he does not currently have an injury designation for the game. And we know that Ricky Pearsall's out. We know that Jordan Watkins is out, and Juwan Jennings is questionable. God willing, they'll all be okay. But yeah, that puts Kendrick Bourne in a higher place. San Fran is playing Tampa, though. So he said, yeah, I think I'm set on Waller for sure. Just don't know about another option. Yeah, man, if Waller's good to go, I feel good about Waller in that game. My thing is just make sure that he's healthy. So just make sure you keep checking the injury update, because he did show up on the injury report. But that's really tough. It's a good question. I can understand. I can understand you asking the question and not having a sure feel on it. I mean, the Lions have won 4 in a row after losing their opener at Green Bay, and Jamison Williams hasn't been that utilized. It's been Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta. So I know I said Jamison Williams, but man, this is tough. And Caden, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Appreciate you being here, Caden. But I got to finish answering Whoopi's question, and we'll get to your question, so just hold on with me for a second. Okay. Mason Taylor, no. Darren Waller, Khalil Shakir, Trey Tucker, Jameson Williams, Kendrick Bourne. The only thing about Kendrick Bourne is that they're on the road at Tampa. But Mac Jones has been playing really well. And then Shakir gives you an option on Monday Night Football, but I haven't been sold on Shakir. So as a Whoopi, I'm going to say Waller. Okay. So let's see. As a Whoopi, I'm going to say Waller and Bourne. But Shakir is on the mind, is what I'll say to you. And then Caden, I got your question that came in here. So Whoopi said, I just don't know on Shakir. I know he's a safe play, but I need some magic. Well, I mean, the magic, the high risk, high reward would be playing Jameson Winston, hoping that he finally has a breakout game. But I don't feel good about telling you to play him. And then, you know, he had 1 catch for 9 yards in the last one, so I don't want to put you in that position. So I would say Bourne. Caden, make sure to subscribe. Che Ambrose, I got your message in here as well, so make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. I want to let everybody know that's new to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we are inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. And of course, we are in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, NFL Week 6 of the 2025-26 season, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, where you can watch all the games in Camillus, New York. So, with all that being said, the Fantasy Football Power Hour's normal broadcast time is every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Wake Up Call. So make sure you tune in this Wednesday, because we'll be back at our normal schedule of Wednesdays at 10 a.m. So I just want to let everybody know that's new to this, because we will be back on Wednesday, and I don't want you to miss this Wednesday. So Caden said, should I start Sutton over Debo because Debo's questionable? Well, I like Sutton against the Jets. So Caden, pardon me. I'd go Sutton. And then he said lost 3 games by less than 2 points is what Zawupi said. All right. And then, well, hopefully you get better here. He said, I'm 1-4, not having the best luck this year. Man, it'll turn around. Don't give up. Stay strong with it. Thanks for coming to the show, though. I'll help where I can. Can't promise you perfection because nobody can, but I'll do the best I can. Caden said 0.5 PPR, Brees or ETN. I'm going to say ETN over Brees just because Brees is playing Denver's defense. So that's for you, Caden. So make sure you pick that up here. Make sure y'all subscribe if you haven't. And Yeah, Whoopi, I agree. Thank you for your input. I hit the like. Appreciate you. Caden said, thanks, man. You're welcome. Che, make sure to subscribe, and I'm going to answer your question here. Do you think Keenan Allen moves... What is it? Do you think Keenan Allen moves of Worthy or Diggs this week if Quentin Johnston is out? Full PPR, thanks. So you're asking me, should you put... I don't know what you're asking me, Che. Do you think Keenan Allen moves of Worthy or Diggs this week? Like moves above them? I mean, Diggs is playing New Orleans. And Worthy I don't trust right now in fantasy. And Keenan Allen's playing the Dolphins. I mean, Che... Does he move ahead of them? Okay, that's what I thought you meant. Okay. Che, I would say right now it's Diggs, then Allen, then... Let me see here. I would say Diggs, then Allen, then Worthy. Just because Ladd McConkey's with the Chargers, but I do like, and Diggs has been having an uptick. So I'd probably say Diggs, and Diggs is playing New Orleans, and like I said, New Orleans is very strange because it's like you think they come out into the season and you think that, they're the one team that doesn't have a firm quarterback, probably the most open quarterback situation. Then they choose Spencer Rattler. Then you're like, okay, well, how good is their defense going to be, and what are they going to do, and what are they going to look like? And it kind of feels like open season, and then they come out and they just play terribly, but then they beat the Giants, and then the Giants go on and beat the Eagles, and you're like, okay, is New Orleans going to turn it on now? And they have talent, but I don't trust their defense. So I'd probably say Diggs. I'd say Diggs, then Allen. Let's go to Tennessee at the Raiders. And so, got to do that for the boom. So let's go to the Tennessee Titans first here. Tennessee Titans coming off a victory, how about? And the Raiders have just been kind of uneventful feeling. Tennessee's 1-4. The Raiders are 1-4. But Tennessee's at least, coming off a game that they won, where the Raiders won their first game over the Patriots on the road 20-13, and they've lost 4 in a row. So literally the opposite. Tennessee lost every game, then won a game. The Raiders won their first game and have lost every game since. So they're both 1-4, but it's the difference between 1, then 4 losses, 4 losses, then 1 win. So right now Tennessee's coming in with more momentum here as the Colts blew out the Raiders in their last game 40-6. I'm wondering how long they're going to keep Geno Smith there and leave him as the starting quarterback. I mean, if I had to pick, let's go to Tennessee first. So, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to play Cam Ward in this game. I can't. I don't think that that's your fantasy go-to. Hopefully not. They beat the Cardinals on the road 22-21. And I mean, Tony Pollard had a rushing touchdown, 14 for 67, 4.8 yards to carry. Calvin Ridley, 5 catches, 10 targets, 131. Led the team in all those categories. And Okonkwo, their tight end, 5 targets, 4 catches, 48 yards. Alec Iomanor, 4 targets, 2 catches, 18 yards. Tony Pollard had all 3 of the targets. He caught those out of the backfield. Tajay Spears was quiet. So in this game, I actually feel better about Tajay Spears. So I'm going to say Spears is like a deep flex, like a running back 4. I like Calvin Ridley in the game. And Okonkwo, I'm going to call him a mid-range tight end 1. On the other side, I'd play Ashton Genty. If you're looking at Jacoby Myers, maybe for PPR, Brock Bowers is out with a PCL injury. God willing, he'll be okay and come back this next week. So Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, he's going to step it up here. And maybe you look at Michael Mayer as a mid-range tight end because he's playing Tennessee, and Jacoby Myers PPR-wise, but the only Raider I feel good about is Ashton Genty. let's go to our San Fran at Tampa game. I know I talked about it a little bit with Kendrick Bourne, but Mac Jones, like I said before, I think they should have played the hot hand against the Jaguars. I think when Brock Purdy was, good to go, I still would have played Mac Jones. I would have played him through the first half, and if he was winning, I would have kept him in, and if he was struggling, I would say, okay, well, we got our starter. We put our starter in. Brock Purdy knows what he needs to do, so I don't think sitting out a quarter after sitting out, from injury is going to be too crazy for Brock Purdy. But I would have played the hot hand. I would have started Mac Jones against the Jaguars and seen what he did. And then from there, if he did well, keep him in. If he didn't, then put Brock Purdy in. Brock Purdy's going to be out for week 6 with his toe injury. Mac Jones is limited in practice. He's questionable with a knee injury, but hopefully he's able to go. I would say Christian McCaffrey I like in this game. And Kendrick Bourne, I'm going to flex him out just because of the quarterback situation and Mac being on the injury report. On the other side of it, I like Baker Mayfield. I like Emeka Egbuka, of course. Mike Evans is going to be out for this game. Chris Godwin's going to be out for this game. So Sterling Shepard could be another guy to look at as a wide receiver 3. I like Emeka Egbuka, though. And I like Baker Mayfield in the game. Bucky Irving is out, so Rachaad White's going to get more opportunities here. I'm going to call Rachaad White against San Fran. I'm going to call him a running back 2 in this matchup. And then before we get to Sunday and Monday Night Football, let's go to our last game mid-afternoon. We got the Bengals at the Packers. And we'll go to the road team first with Cincinnati, and then we'll get into the Green Bay Packers, a team that continues to confuse. So let's go with Cincinnati. Joe Flacco is now the quarterback. As we know, Joe Burrow is out. He's expected to return in week 15. And so I thought the Giants having Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, that, I said in these first few weeks, if a quarterback goes down and somebody needs somebody or they don't like the starter that they have, they're probably going to look to the Giants, and the Giants are going to have trade capital there. And it ended up working out instead for the Browns that drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks, so they let go of Joe Flacco after having him 2 times in recent history here, and Joe Flacco is now a Bengal. So I'm going to say Chase Brown in this game. I'm going to say Mike Gesicki, right? That you go to your tight end and you go to your running back. You go close to your line. You go that short range passes, right? You're checked down to your running back, your tight end over the middle. So I'd look to Mike Gesicki and Chase Brown. I'm not going to call either of them a 1. I would just say I'd look to them. God willing, Jamar Chase will be okay. He has an illness. And, Joe Flacco, he just got onto the team. So I would say T. Higgins is talented. But, I'm not going to call him a 1 in this matchup. Jordan Love against Cincinnati's defense. I'm going to say Jordan Love is worth the play in this game, because you might have somebody out, or you might just be looking at a situation where, you want to give somebody a shot, or you want to give Jordan Love a shot. And if you're going to give him a shot, this is probably a good week to do that. They just tied the Cowboys and they're off, so the Green Bay is coming off of a bye. They scored 40 points in that game. Love had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 31 of 43, 337 yards. Josh Jacobs went buck wild. Romeo Doubs got involved. A bunch of guys got involved here. So, you're playing Cincinnati. I would say this would be a week to play Jordan Love. I like Josh Jacobs in the game. I like Tucker Kraft in the game. And beyond that, I'd probably say Romeo Doubs. Matthew Golden's been getting a little bit more involved. He's probably going to get more involved in this game, so I'd be happy if you could flex out Doubs or Golden as a wide receiver 3. Let's go to Sunday Night Football, which is going to be Detroit at Kansas City. Detroit tripped coming into the season, but they've found their footing. Kansas City has continued to trip. So this is something that some people might think like, this is like a preview of the Super Bowl. And it's like, I don't know. I'm going to say Jahmyr Gibbs in this game, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. In the deep league is a 2. Hopefully he could be your 3. I like Sam Laporta as well. On the other side, Patty Mahomes is worth the play, and Travis Kelce. They're going to be home in this game. Xavier Worthy, I'm going to call him a wide receiver 2. Hollywood, I'm going to call a 3. Isaiah Pacheco, I would say, I mean, they lost 31-28, like I said, Monday Night Football to the Jaguars. Pacheco in that game, 7 carries, 36 yards, 5.1. Kareem Hunt, 7 carries, 49 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, this one's tough. And they're playing Detroit's defense. I'm going to say also play Detroit's defense and special teams because I think they'll get at least 1 takeaway, if not 2. So I'd say I feel safest with Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but, Kareem Hunt's a flex, Isaiah Pacheco's a flex, Marquise Hollywood-Brown's a flex, Xavier Worthy's a wide receiver 2 in a deep league, but hopefully you could play him at a 3 or Hollywood at a 3. This Pat Mahomes is really good in reality, but in fantasy, because he throws the ball all over the place, besides Kelce, it's been many years since you've known what receiver he's going to go to when Tyreek Hill hasn't been there. So that's Sunday Night Football. Let's get into Monday night. It's a doubleheader. Bills at the Falcons, and then we have the Bears at the Commanders. So these are 2 East Coast games, which means that they're not going to be staggered, which is sad because I don't understand why you'd want to have a Monday night doubleheader and conflict yourself here. Spartacus just sent me a question, so Spartacus, I'm going to get to it. In the meantime, Spartacus, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I appreciate you. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So I saw your question. We'll get to it in 1 second. So let's go to Buffalo first. I like Josh Allen in the game. I like James Cook in the game. Keon Coleman, I'm going to call low end 2. I'm going to call Khalil Shakir low end 2 just because it's like up in the air. And then Dalton Kincaid, he was limited with an oblique injury. If he's able to play, I'd put him out there against Atlanta. I wouldn't be playing Michael Penix this week. I like Bijan Robinson as a 1. I like Tyler Algier as a 3 just because I'm not sold about him against Buffalo's defense. I'm going to call Drake London a wide receiver 2. I'm going to call Kyle Pitts Sr. because he's playing Buffalo a mid-range to low-end tight end 1. He's definitely getting more involved in a way that we all hoped that he would, but he's playing Buffalo's defense. But I just still like putting Kyle Pitts out there. I just don't have him as like a high-end 1 because of the matchup. Let's take a look at Chicago and the Commanders, but not before I answer Spartacus's question. So Spartacus said, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, CMC, Jonathan Taylor, Quinshawn Judkins, Jordan Mason, David Montgomery, Rico Dowdle, and Kendre Miller. Then we got Puka Tataroa, Quentin Johnson, Cortland Sutton, Tyler Higbee, Tyler Warren, IR Coker, Jaden Reed. Okay. 2-2-2 flex. Trade for a wide receiver or sit tight. If I trade for Jackson Smith and Jigba, is Mason Quentin Johnson enough? I mean, that's up to the person that you trade with, but if you can do that, I'd do it. Spartacus. If you can get Jackson Smith and Jigba, because you got a bunch of running backs. So if you can get Jackson Smith and Jigba for Mason and Quentin Johnston, I'm okay with you doing that. I mean, Quentin Johnston's been showing up a little bit more, but I like the Jackson Smith and Jigba move, and I'm not sold on Jordan Mason, so I'm okay with that move. The last game that we have is going to be our second Monday Night Football game. And like I said, Chicago at Washington. So let's go to that game. And Spartacus, if you got a response to that, but I just want to make sure you got it. Jaden Daniels is good to go. So Jaden Daniels is back. It's a good thing. hopefully he's healthy, because you don't want to have a guy come in and not be ready to go. 27-10, they won on the road. When he came back, 15-26, 231, 1 touchdown. No interceptions, 8 carries for 39 yards, 4.9 yards a carry. Spartacus said, good deal. All right, man, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you. Chicago against Washington. I probably wouldn't be playing Caleb Williams. This is interesting, though. These are 2 top picks playing against each other. So when you go back to the 2024 NFL draft, you got Caleb Williams went 1 overall to Chicago out of USC, and number 2 overall, Jaden Daniels out of LSU went to Washington. So this is the number 1 versus the number 2 of the 2024 NFL draft. Number 1 overall pick versus the number 2 overall pick. I like DeAndre Swift in the game. I like Rome Odunze. Cole Kmet, I'm going to call him a mid-range tight end 1 to a low end, because Colston Loveland, well, he was full practice on Saturday, which is good, questionable for week 6 with a hip injury. If Colston Loveland's able to go, I would call him a mid-range tight end 1. I'd put Kmet behind him, but I like Rome Odunze and DeAndre Swift and a little bit of DJ Moore. I don't like DJ Moore as a 1, though. On the other side, I like Jaden Daniels in this game. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I'd flex him out if you can. And, Terry McLaurin with a quad injury, he's out for this game. Debo is questionable for the game with a heel injury, which means this is going to be really up in the air. But I would flex out Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Jaden Daniels, I like him. I'm going to call him... No, I like Jaden Daniels in this game. I like him as a QB1. So that's what I would say. If you have any other questions, then make sure you get them in within these last couple minutes. If not, then make sure you write them directly to our video so that I can respond to it. Of course, we are with you up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archive: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you got to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and your Alexa and Google devices will play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora if you ask them to do that. And of course, many thanks to our wonderful team of partners in Central and Upstate New York: Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek. They're 2 locations, one being in the country, one being in the city, so you get the beauty of both atmospheres. On 33 Rippleton Road in Cazenovia, in the country, at the Cazenovia Farm Brewery, and at the Syracuse Inner Harbor, where Isaac Elford and I are there for every Syracuse football home game in 2025, giving you our wake-up call game day experience. And we'll be live broadcasting ahead of the Syracuse Pitt game. We'll be there this coming Saturday, October 18th at 4:30 p.m. And the game will kick off at 7:30. So we'll be there 3 hours before at Myers Creek. We look forward to seeing you over there. Fighting solves everything. I don't agree with that, but I did see your question to the person that has that name. I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that as a statement. That's the name of the person that just wrote in. So I'll call you Fighting here. So make sure you head out to Myers Creek, including on October 18th at 4:30 p.m. to see Wake Up Call game day for Syracuse versus Pitt. Chick-fil-A, Cicero, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Pizza Man, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Brian's Landing, Canine Campground, Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, Binghamton Bearcats, and Onondaga Community College Lasers. You'll find the Bobcats every month in the Bobcat Buzz. You'll find the Binghamton Bearcats every Tuesday weekly at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with Bearcat Time, and every other Wednesday, including this upcoming Wednesday, October 15th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, you will find a new piece with the OCC Lasers. You could find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. For the Bobcats, find our BSC Syracuse playlist. For the Bearcats, find our Binghamton playlist. And for the Lasers, find the OCC playlist. You can also find them all by going to wakeupcalldt.com, and on wakeupcalldt.com on our main website, they are there, including under the exclusive partners tab for the Bobcats, the Bearcats, and the Lasers. For more information on the Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and for the Bearcats, go to binghamtonbearcats.com, and the Lasers are at onondagalasers.com. So Fighting sent me a question here. I think Spartacus should sit tight. His depth is amazing. He does have great depth, man. He'd be injury and bye week proof. I'm a Marine. It's what we do. Oh, Fighting solves everything. Okay. From that point of view. All right. So Fighting, I appreciate you. And thank you more than anything else for your service. I am in a family of service members, so I appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So yeah, I mean, I would say, and I agree with you, Fighting. I agree that Spartacus has a ton of depth. Like I said when I was reading through this, So, I mean, Spartacus, you can sit on it. I like the Jackson Smith and Jigba move, but I also understand Fighting's point. Please remember that Houston and Minnesota are off this week, so do not play anybody from them. Do not play their defenses or special teams because you will get 0 points. And with that being said, thanks for being with us inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Visit Great Lakes Honda City Monday through Saturday for sales and service by going to 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. And when you are looking to buy or lease, you can check out their new and used vehicles and what's available to buy and what's available to lease at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. It's who I've trusted with my vehicles for over a decade, and that's why I tell you to trust them as well. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't, so make sure you head over there. Thank you to all of our fantasy football coverage, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Go there 7 days a week on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, in the Home Depot Plaza, and you can order takeout and delivery by calling 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, broadcasting live on site on location from New York City for this broadcast. Fantasy football will be back in its normal day and time, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time this October 15th. We'll see you then. And in the meantime, God bless, no stress, do your best, have a beautiful day, and remember that you matter.